Hi, this is Tom from Connexio, my 20 ELD support team. Just wanted to spend a few minutes with you tonight to talk about the latest version of the update on the My 20 ELD app. It's 18.7.111 for Apple and 18.7.112 for Android. There are quite a few enhancements and fixes in. A lot of these have come from you, the user, through your suggestions. We greatly appreciate your feedback. Anytime you're having an issue, please give us a call or send an email to support, or if you have an idea for an improvement, send that to us as well. We'd love to hear it. All right, first I want to talk to you about what you see in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. It is a orange circle with a white check in it. That is a safe logout indicator or safe logout circle. Basically what that means, if it's orange, and I'm going to go ahead and touch it and you'll see the message, there is that basically tells you if the communication and data transfer between the app and the tower is complete or whether there is more data to be transferred. If that circle is gray, that means that there's still data to be transferred, and it's important that you not log out until it turns orange. If you log out while it is gray, whatever data is supposed to be transferred will be lost. So it's really important that you wait until that turns orange. All right? Wanted to talk to you briefly about connectivity. Over the last few versions of the app and versions of firmware, there have been significant improvements on that in terms of not only getting connected, but maintaining connectivity. It's extremely important that you remember if you're not connected to the device that's plugged into your truck, you're not compliant with the ELD mandate. It requires you to be connected and receiving engine information to include velocity that will tell the system whether you're driving or not. If you're not connected, you're not in compliance. All right. The connectivity process has changed a little bit in that now trucks are assigned to carriers. And so through our system and the MAC addresses of the devices, so when you scan for the ELD, it will present to you any and all devices that are within range that are assigned to that carrier. So if you're a one truck carrier, you won't see that. You'll just be presented with one choice. But if you have more than one truck, you'll see those multiple choices, and you need to make sure you're picking the right truck that you're in. All right. In addition to that, as far as duty statuses, the duty status driving as a choice has been eliminated, so that now the only way that you can be in driving status is if you are connected and the truck is sending velocity information over 5 miles per hour to the app. All right, so that option to change your status to driving is no longer available, and that is a FMCSA requirement. Next, I wanted to talk to you about annotations. Annotations have changed quite a bit. They are no longer status related and they're no longer transaction related, which means that an annotation is more like a post-it note or a sticky note, which provides information on your log as far as different things, but they cannot change statuses and they're not necessarily bound by the beginning and ending time of a transaction. All right, let's take a look at a few of those. We're going to go to Friday, and annotations, as you can see in the upper right hand or upper part of the screen, right below the hours numbers, you'll see these little arrows and a dashed line right below the numbers. All right, I'm going to scroll down, and you'll see now that annotations are shown at the bottom or the last underneath the last transaction. So as you do a annotation, it'll show up down at the bottom. Now let's look, and I'll show you where they show up on your actual log. All right, you can see the dash line and the arrows are still there, but if you scroll down at the bottom where you'll have transactions, and then you'll have annotations. All right, so in this case, I did a pre-trip inspection and a post-trip inspection, and I annotated as such. Now, one thing that you can do if you want to make a deletion of an annotation on Apple, you just, you just move your finger to the left, and it creates that delete button, and you select that, and then it'll be deleted. All right, it's going to ask you, are you sure you want to delete it? In this case, I'm not. I'm going to leave it there. All right, so those are annotations. Again, more for information, not for status changes and things like that. All right, the next thing I want to talk to you about is the FMCSA Upload, and this was something that we heard loud and clear from our users, that the way we had it before, it was quite painful. Go to the Share tab, go to Send in the case of Apple, go to the 3 dots in the case of Android. And so what you're going to do is whenever you are stopped by an officer, or if you're being audited, you can use this functionality, all right? You would select FMCSA Upload, and then you would have a date range. It can be 1 day, it can be 7 days, it can be 60 days, whatever you're being asked to provide, you can do it all in one transaction. All right, so in this case, I'm going to do basically everything that's in my log right now. My beginning day or start date will be July 26th. And then my ending day is going to be today, August 2nd. And then it'll ask me FMCSA comment. This is the output identifier, output file identifier number that's usually provided either by the auditor or the officer. And this allows them to identify your files or records in their system among all the thousands of records that they get on a daily basis. In this case, I'm going to type in test. I'm going to select submit. And there's our message, FMCSA data transmission requested. All right, so in just a little bit, we'll get some feedback that will show us that it's actually been received. But that's all you have to do for a roadside stop or an audit. You can select the date range, you put in that comment, and it's sent, and you're done. And it's as easy as that. All right, let's talk about a new feature called the 34-hour restart. All right, if you go to Settings and then Logs and then Restart menu, you want to select 34-hour restart, and it will acknowledge that the restart has been activated, and you'll see right below the ELD status on the main log screen, you'll now see a orange circle which says 34-hour restart. All right, and that means that the process has started. And so if you look at the time screen, you'll see down at the bottom of the circle, you'll see a restart time remaining, and that's a countdown clock. So I've got 31 hours, 52 minutes remaining in my restart. Now, in this case, I've got 70 hours, so my cycle just started, but I wanted to show you how this works. All right. In addition to this countdown clock, on the actual log screen, on the graph, you'll see a vertical line that will show when the restart is complete, and you'll be able to get back to work. All right. So in my case, 31 hours. So a little bit beyond tomorrow, and then the next day it'll show that line, and that means that I've restarted my my cycle, my weekly cycle. Okay, there's our ELD data successfully transmitted to the FMCSA. So that's our note. Now, if I go back, I can actually go back to the settings, logs, restart menu. And then if I select it again, you can actually deactivate it. So when I deactivate it, go back, it says the restart has been deactivated. Go back to the clock, and now that countdown is gone. All right. Time clock has been vastly improved. The calculations are working, both for duty clock, the driving hours, and those calculations. So we've been working very hard on that. Know you've been very frustrated with some of the issues that we've had there. Last but not least is the exemption screen. The exemption screen allows you to make exemptions, and we heard your voices loud and clear, specifically in the area of yard moves and personal conveyance. In previous versions of the app, you would make those exemptions and changes after or post you had been actually driving. Now you do it before you're driving. So while you're in off-duty status or sleeper berth, you would actually turn on personal conveyance. You'll get a message says exception activated. If you go over and look, when you start driving, even though you're driving, it will show off-duty with personal conveyance. Your duty clock, your driving clock, none of those will be activated unless you have started your duty day. If you started your duty day, then that clock will continue to count down. Your miles, when you look to the left over today, it will say the number of miles that you traveled, but the driving time while you're in PC will remain at 0. All right. I'm going to show you in a minute how it looks like on your log, but let's go back. I'm going to go back. I'm going to deactivate the exception personal conveyance, and I'm going to turn on yard moves. Same thing. You do it when you're in off-duty status. On duty, you're stopped. You make the switch, and then it will be activated, and then you'll start driving. Or in this case, doing yard moves. Your duty status will show on duty. Your duty clock will be decremented or decreased as well, but your driving time, even though you go over 5 miles per hour moving trailers around, that will not count against you. And also any mileage in today, that will show, but no driving time. All right, same type thing. You turn it off. The exception is deactivated. And then I want to show you on the actual log what those will look like. All right, so we're going to go to Friday, and if you look on the logs page, it shows PC and yard moves. And if you look at the status, even though, and these are real short, but it shows off duty as the status for PC, on duty for the status of yard moves. If you look at the actual form, it will show off PC and on YM for those exemptions. All right, or exceptions. So those are a few of the changes. We're very excited about them. I hope you will be as well. If you have any questions about this video or about these features, I would encourage you to look around the app. There's some other things that I did not talk about that I want you to check out. But if you have any questions, please give us a call at support. The number is 865-888-6920, extension 2. This is Tom from support. Hoping you have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.